Have you ever wondered what really makes a company tick? What separates the good ones from the truly great ones? Well, it's kind of like a giant puzzle, and all the most important pieces are people. Today, we're going to put that puzzle together. We're diving into the engine room of every successful business, human resources. And don't worry, we're skipping the boring jargon and getting right to how the best teams on the planet are built. So let's start with a really big question. When you picture a company that's just crushing it, what do you think is their most valuable asset? Is it their slick product, their cutting-edge technology, maybe some kind of secret formula? Nope, it's none of those things. It always comes down to the people. The ones who innovate, who solve the tough problems, who actually bring all those brilliant ideas to life. See, without the right team, even the best product is just an idea on a piece of paper. And that formal system for finding and nurturing those amazing people, well, that's what we call human resources management. Okay, so what exactly is human resources management, or HRM? I promise you, it's so much more than just hiring, firing, and paperwork. A better way to think about it is like being the architect for a company's talent. It's the master plan for acquiring, maintaining, and developing the entire team. It covers the whole journey of an employee from the day they apply to the day they retire. Now, to really understand this people puzzle, it helps to break HRM down into three main pillars. Think of these as the fundamental building blocks that every single organization has to get right if they want to build a team that doesn't just show up to work, but actually wins. So, what are they? First, acquisition. That's all about finding the right people. Second, maintenance. This is about creating an environment where they actually want to stick around. And third, development. Investing in their skills so they can grow. It's a cycle, right? Find them, keep them, grow them. The best companies live and breathe this cycle every single day. All right, let's zoom in on that first pillar, acquisition. This is way more than just tossing a job ad online and hoping the perfect person magically appears. It's a really strategic process of figuring out who you need, attracting them, and then finally picking the absolute best person to join the team. And it all starts with a plan. You see, great companies don't just react when someone quits. They're always looking ahead. First, they forecast their future demand. What skills are we going to need in 6 months, a year? Then they look at their current supply. Who do we have right now? The last step is basically building a bridge between the team you have today and the team you're going to need tomorrow. But hold on, before you can find the right person, you have to know exactly what the job is. That's where something called a job analysis comes in. It's basically a deep dive into a specific role to figure out what it's all about. And trust me, if you get this part wrong, the whole hiring process can just completely fall flat. This analysis gives you two super important documents. Think of them as two sides of the same coin. On one side, you have the job description. That's the what. It lists all the tasks and responsibilities. On the other side is the job specification. That's the who. It lists the skills and qualifications you need to do the job well. A classic mistake is writing one without really thinking about the other. So you know who you're looking for. Now, where do you find them? Well, you've got two main options. You can recruit internally, which is awesome for morale because it shows your current team there's a path for growth. The only catch, you just create a new empty spot to fill. Or you can recruit externally. This brings in fresh ideas and new perspectives, but yeah, it's usually more expensive and takes more time. Okay, once you've got a bunch of candidates, the real selection begins. It's like a funnel, right? You start with a big pool of people from applications, and then you use all these different tools, like skills tests, deep dive interviews, and checking references to narrow it down until you find that one person who is just the perfect fit for the role and the team. Phew, you found the perfect person. Job's done, right? Ha, not even close. Finding great people is honestly only half the battle. Now we move into that second pillar, maintenance. This is all about how you keep that amazing talent happy, motivated, and sticking with you for the long run. And let's be real, a huge piece of this puzzle is compensation. A good compensation system isn't just about pulling a salary number out of thin air. It's a whole strategy. It's based on research, like wage surveys to see what other companies are paying, and also on figuring out how valuable each job is to your own company. That's how you make it fair and competitive. And compensation comes in a lot of different flavors. You have your steady, predictable pay, like a salary or an hourly wage. But a lot of companies also use things like sales commissions, bonuses for hitting big goals, or even profit sharing to really motivate people and give them a real stake in the company's success. But it's not all about the paycheck. The total package includes all those employee benefits, the indirect rewards that are sometimes just as important. In a competitive job market like today's, things like good health insurance, decent paid time off, and a solid retirement plan can absolutely be the deal breaker that attracts top talent. Okay, so you're paying people well, you're keeping them happy, that's fantastic. But the very best employees, they don't just want a job, they want a career. They want to grow. And that brings us to our third and final pillar, development. This is where a company invests in its people to turn today's top performers into tomorrow's leaders. And it's really important to know the difference between training and development. Employee training is about the here and now. It's about giving someone the skills they need to be amazing at their current job. Management development, on the other hand, is about the future. It's about preparing people for more responsibility, for climbing that ladder to the next level. So how do you figure out who needs what kind of development? That's where the performance appraisal comes in. Now, this is way more than just a report card. A good appraisal is a tool for giving useful feedback, for making fair decisions about raises and promotions, and for pinpointing exactly where someone could grow. And the way we give this feedback has really evolved. You know, the old school way was tell and sell, where a manager just tells you how you did. Then we got a little better with tell and listen, which at least opened it up for discussion. But really, the gold standard today is a problem-solving approach, where the manager and employee work together as partners to set goals for the future. And an even more modern approach is the 360-degree evaluation. This is pretty cool. Here, feedback doesn't just come from your boss. You get anonymous feedback from everyone you work with, your peers, the people who report to you, and your supervisors. It gives you a much more complete and, frankly, a more honest picture of how you're doing. So there you have it. We've walked through the 3 pillars: finding people, keeping them, and helping them grow. But before we wrap up, there's one last, really crucial point to make. This stuff isn't just the job of the HR department. For any of this to actually work, it has to be a partnership. The HR specialists can design the most brilliant systems in the world for hiring, compensation, and training, but it's the managers on the front lines who bring those systems to life every single day. One simply cannot work without the other. And as we're building these incredible teams, there's one principle that has become totally non-negotiable in the modern world: embracing diversity. You see, having a team with different backgrounds, experiences, and perspectives isn't just a nice thing to do. It is a massive strategic advantage. It leads to more creativity, better problem solving, and a deeper connection with your customers. So we'll leave you with this one last question to think about. Is your organization just filling empty seats on a chart, or is it truly building a team? Because at the end of the day, that's the difference that great human resources management makes. It's the art and science of putting people first, knowing that they are the key to everything.